Yo, we walking, headed to the conference. Accra's a beautiful city, man. It's crazy. Courage just messaged. I'm gonna text him back real quick. We made it. We here. Yo, what's up? We in Ghana right now. We in Accra, baby. What they said? They said Aquaba? Aquaba, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Got the vibes.
What did you say that one was? And hibiscus leaves.
I gotta be careful with that. That's heavy. Thank you so much.
We can have respect for the chief and respect for the ceremony.
I was about, a few months short of my 6th birthday when I last saw our father. But of course, we corresponded and we spoke. But from all my conversations with him, there is one that I remember most vividly, and that was a phone conversation. It happened at the end of a very long day, I think one of the longest in our lives. And that was the day of the overthrow, the illegal overthrow of his government in 1966. He said, Yaba, don't be afraid. I want you to be strong. And I thought, at the time, did he know that I was crying the whole day out of fear? Did he realize how traumatized I must have been? But he said, don't be afraid. I want you to be strong. And he said many other things to comfort us. But just him saying, don't be afraid and be strong, struck in my mind. And when people tell me today, Samia, you are a strong woman, I'm not surprised, because I think I was determined to be strong. So we can be determined to be strong in our convictions. So, the products are endless. And
she's talking about activated charcoal oil, powder.
You have the hybrid, but it's the traditional long than 60 years ago. So today, we are talking about it, and we have a secretariat, and we are saying we are going to do it in the few years to come. All aspects of unity, from changing our constitutions to allow us to be open to join forces at the right time, forming a nucleus, countries those who are willing to unite now can do so. From economic cooperation and planning in industries, there are major industries we need to build in the years to come. But maybe Ghana cannot do it on their own. Maybe Cote d'Ivoire cannot do it on their own. Maybe we need 3, 4, 5 countries to do these industries. All these ideas are right here with us in books like Africa Must Unite.
Come from the soil of the Nile River Valley, from a land called Kemet. The Kenai turned to Akan and spread the continent from Accra to Malawi. Just to give you context on how far my style be, outside of your colonial borders and boundaries, divided tribes. My diatribe is like the Saudi at Mecca. You can feel a holy pilgrimage inside my lectures. Muhammad's flow on Allah, Walter Allah's lecture. Spit a J Electra flow with a Chicago texture. When I rhyme, I'm in the heavens like I died with Mecca. Rest in power, the ball when and the rest of our kings in the coffin. I'm king to in common. They tried to whitewash my history, money laundering, stolen artifacts. I'm in Benin, skin bronzing. I don't owe no man but the bail bondsman. Till my people go free. Ali Ox. I'm bringing up a panel of poets. It's going to be guided by my dear sister.
In that conversation, we started having more and more conversations, and I felt open to ask them, like, hey, since y'all was also militant, what's going on in Ghana? I'm gonna go to Ghana. They're like, oh, we know hella people in Ghana. I was like, what? And just so you know, like, for Americans, for a lot of Black Americans that haven't traveled here before, this seems like such a distant thing, you know? There's a lot of, like, obstacles in place, whether it's the visas or the yellow card or the finances needed to pay for the travel, or just a misunderstanding of what it's like when you get here is very, there's a distance that you feel being a Black American. I didn't come here till 2017, to the continent till 2017, and that was in South Africa, you know, which is very different from West Africa. So the pride that I was introduced to, the rich history of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and his role in creating this global Black identity, you know, all of that stuff came to me because I was able to come and link up with Vic. And we known each other since we was 14, but I had never been out here. I'd never traveled alone with Vic. We toured together, but like, you know, just us two being somewhere that's not a business thing was something different. So I came out here, I kicked it with him, I kicked it with his cousins. We went out, we did a lot of fun stuff, but the thing that I valued the most was when we went to the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum and learned about the history of Ghana and how much it changed Black people's identity globally, you know what I mean? Like
5 years in prison at the age of 14. Aja actually introduced me to Musa and to his partner, Jessica, in hopes that I could help to get some exposure on their situation. And long story short, COVID happened. I thought all plans were done. I sent a final Hail Mary pass to the governor of Illinois, and 3 days later, Musa was released 12 years early. A show. Probably the most.
When they're all Black, and when we first came to the United States or came to Jamaica, as Marcus Garvey's ancestors did, we were the cargo. To be those people that are in charge of it and to create an economic support system through that is poetic in itself, but his goal was always to create that connection and that trade for us, to be the procurer of goods between the Americas and the islands in South America.
Released the Kanye Genius documentary on Netflix. Momentous accomplishment. And the reason I feel like it's so important to mention is because I learned so much from y'all by that being 20 years later, because I learned you gotta stay down till you come up. I couldn't stop telling people. I was telling people, I can only imagine the amount of times in that last 20 years when you might have felt like, is this ever gonna happen? Should I ditch this shit? People
Yo, it's like a fire over here. It's crazy. It's off, it's unplugged. Yeah. Sheesh.
Think you done?
Yeah, it's unplugged, That's crazy though. I was like, somebody sabotaged the joint. But we Gucci though, we Gucci.
So look, we're bringing this next panel along. I just want to say, Cooney and Chike, I'm incredibly inspired by y'all sticking to y'all vision and To see you stick to your vision and 20 years later, it come out and be the biggest fucking thing.
But we only have a few minutes left, but I do want to at least close my part by saying how much I've appreciated getting to know so many more people who are not just working to advance themselves, but to advance us.
Bring somebody along with you, right? Whether it's a younger brother, a cousin, an auntie, an uncle. Bring them with you. If you're here, you know what it takes to get here. It's really 4 main components. It's airfare, it's lodging, it's immunization, and it's visa. Everybody aware of the new visa rules, right? You can get your visa at the airport. There's no more pre-applying. You can get your visa at the airport. So bring somebody along with you. Walk through the process, help educate them so they can understand how to get this done. And the other component is this. Everybody comes here, and I know sometimes I get frustrated when, I order a Hennessy and Coke, right? I want a Hennessy and Coke. And they bring me a shot of Hennessy, a can of Coke, and a glass of ice. There's no secret that this country, in some ways, when you talk about a quality control standpoint, there's some progress that we have to make. But if you're here and you're interested in business, educate yourself, get the information so you can help this economy grow. Because we know with more growth of the economy becomes a better experience for all diasporas.
Congo has more wealth in the ground than nearly all of the countries of Africa put together. Just one place. Can you repeat after me? The rebirth of African civilization.
The rebirth of African.
You guys need to wake up. You guys need to wake up. Can I hear you say the rebirth of African civilization?
The rebirth of African civilization.
You gotta feel it, History didn't start with slavery. And that's something that, that's fine. History didn't start with slavery. African history didn't start with slavery. And we've got to get used to normalizing what the world would be like for us if we were never colonized. For actually giving us the money to be able to do this, because we want African Americans, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Caribbeans to invest in this school. I'm going to be partnering with it, on the school with Vic, with the guys from Afrochella. I'm bringing everybody together. There's no reason why everybody shouldn't be involved in this, because we all either have children or are going to have children, and we're also going to be developing places for people to be able to live around the school area. Because like Samir was saying earlier, why are we so focused on urbanization when urbanization is a direct product of colonialism? So why are we taking all of the money from the rural areas? 90% of the wealth of the country comes from the rural areas. We're taking it to the capital on the coast and we're exporting it. And then the rural areas don't get developed. But that's where all the wealth is, right? Actual investment happening in Ghana, and people should be putting their money where their mouth is. Because how is it that you can have people go to Polo Beach, or go to Frontback, or go to Bloom Bar, and spend 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 cities on a table, right? But the kids in the middle of the street kids who are selling chewing gum, and then even worse, the kids in the rural area who don't have a hope, or unless they move to the city, of ever even getting a job, you are like, I don't know about. Or maybe what a lot of people do because they want to feel good about themselves is they'll give some orphans some food, and then they go, they leave Ghana again, right? And we've all done it because we want to feel good and we want to help out, but it's not sustainable, right?
For the system so we can become self-sufficient. Although it's going to be on the national grid, we are trying to move towards an age where we have a facility that does not depend nothing on the national grid. Right. So we have that overseers that actually take care of the students. So I had to design a staff residence for them closer to the dormitories in order to keep law and order. And this is the administration that I was talking about earlier. So the entrance was designed in the form of an elephant in an abstractivism form. And this block this is the auditorium, and this is the Adult Life Center. And this is the sports center where we have the gym, martial arts, and that is a canteen block. And I'll use the thatch roof system to have that because that's ingrained in African culture as well. So next, I'm going to show you the video of the area from the whole. So here we go, just about a minute. Okay, so that's the Adult Life, Child Life Center. Unfortunately, the video has sound with it, but I think they have a technical issue. So that's the primary school over there, and that's the auditorium over there. So this side takes you right through where the amphitheater is, with the boys' dormitory, and the secondary school, which has the courtyard behind it. So I also decided to use long overhangs to shade the walkways to prevent, because we're in a tropical region where we have a lot of sun. I'm sure also people from the diaspora feel the heat. So I decided to use long overhang roofs in a mono-pitch style to actually prevent heat. And that block is the auditorium, the library, the plant medicine areas, and that's the playing field over there, where we have the recreational center, the swimming pool, the basketball court, the sports center, and we have the tennis court as well. And that's a little bit segregated from where all the activities are going on. So this is an aerial shot where you can see the entire school from Ignite. Thank you.
Are back from the event. The whole thing was crazy. It was really amazing. I'm really tired. We were heading to a coffee farm tomorrow, our first West African coffee farm. And I'm really hyped, but I'm just pulling out the money for the driver, and I wanted to share a couple of thoughts with you all as I kind of am down here where it's a little bit more quiet. Okay, I got everything we need for the trip tomorrow, so I wanted to talk a little bit about some things we didn't get to talk to. I tried to kind of break this down. It was loud. But yeah, a couple thoughts since we have been in Ghana the first day, now officially at the end of our second day. Here's some of my thoughts. I think the first couple times, well, I shared the first thing about the flag, so that's still true, but also just the first couple times, you know, we've been in Africa, it's been amazing. Part of what's made it amazing is we're kind of explaining the story of the African-American community to people for the first time. We were in East Africa and folks hadn't heard about it, and we hadn't had connected, and our communities hadn't connected. And so it was like that connection and the connection of all of us still being African, but unique in our own experiences was really dope. It was really dope. This is different though, because in Ghana, like I feel like people don't need us to explain our story. Like they know, they understand, they have a perspective, there's a connection. I think a lot of that is because of the work Ghana has done back from Kwame Nkrumah, and also with the work on Pan-Africanism. I just got the book, Africa Must Unite. I'm really excited to read it. Y'all should check that joint out too. Maybe we should do a podcast episode or something talking about takeaways. But yeah, all that's there. And they've done a lot of great branding with the year of the return, and then beyond the return, and what they do in December. Folks be out here partying hard. So there's already kind of like context. There's no need to establish context, and that's kind of relieving. Like I mean, obviously the first two times we went was really amazing too, but this is, you know, I feel like I can breathe. Tomorrow is our first day going to a coffee farm. So, you know, I haven't done much like coffee stuff, but you know, Coffee Black is interesting because it'll always be about the coffee, but the people will always be more important than the coffee. So like, I think the coffee is important for us because it establishes a connection and an opportunity to do business together and economic empowerment and a shared history and all of those things. It's a metaphor that we can all kind of come to the same grounds on, but the metaphor is never more important than the meaning. Like what it's about. People matter more than things is what my mom used to tell me when I was a kid with my head stuck in books, ignoring human beings to read about things that human beings wrote. And like sitting in that drum circle the first day and seeing how genuine it was, like it's about the notes of people, you know, like that's what it's always been about. Like love black people like you love black coffee is the shirt, because it's saying the curiosity and joy we have for creation should give us even more excitement for people who are the pinnacle of creation. So it's just the people, man, the people. Number 4, and I'm going to bed, is the lack of funding. The lack of funding is huge. It's a really big deal, and I think I'm starting to see a pattern. Like people have a lack of funding, and the African continent and those who are descended from it. And I think that solving that problem is something that coffee can be a part of, but even within that, to do coffee well, you need funding, you know what I mean? And like, I know a lot of black companies in America, us included, who are like, man, if I could get a grant or some support, it could allow me to do so much more. And what we've done without that, right, is a testament to like the Most High, a testament to our community, to our creativity. But I'm starting to see a pattern, man. Like, black folks need funding. Like, they need capital globally. Black farmers need funding. Small black companies, importers, exporters, baristas who want to get certified, like the Barista Exchange program. Like, people need funding, man. I don't know what the answer to that is, but I'm seeing it because it's true here too. Like, a lot of amazing, creative folks who just don't have the funding to scale their ideas. Yeah. Bonus content. The whole conference with Chance and Vic sharing our coffee on socials. Chance liked one of the tweets we did a while ago, getting to talk to people, brother named Shaka, about what they're doing with they're building a $14 million school in Ghana to be a feeder for one of the best universities in Africa. I heard a ton about it. I actually am going to get to meet with one of the graduates of that school who has a coffee company, and we'll get to, hold on, this music killing me. Yeah, so the whole thing was really crazy, man. Just like being able to hear about what they're doing and see so many people doing amazing work and see the opportunities to talk to people about what we believe coffee can be in the future for Africa. Like, that joint was crazy. That joint was really crazy, man. So we're looking forward to seeing more, talking to people more. There is a sold out event, apparently. Chance the Rapper's gonna be bringing Dave Chappelle for a conversation about, like, you know, Dave went to Africa. I think he went to Ghana. Somebody in the comments let me know. Me and Milan were talking about that, trying to figure it out. But yeah, man, it's just been crazy. It's been amazing. Let me scan this, give me a second. Yeah, it's been amazing just being able to see and learn all these different things, and really starting to feel at home here, which is beautiful. But that's a wrap for today. See y'all on the forum tomorrow. Peace.